Hey players, Rick here with Game Trade Media. We are with Nick from Indie Boards and Cards, right?
You got it.
Oof, man, that's a lot in one little
People
box.
get it wrong all the time.
I believe they do.
Games and boards, games and cards, boards and games. But indie boards and cards. You got it.
Perfect. And we're here at the Alliance Open House, and you brought some fun little games to show us.
I did.
What do we got?
The first one I want to show you is called Don't Mess with Cthulhu.
Okay.
So
see that. That looks amazing.
This is a re-release of a game that we released a couple of years ago, and it sold out, and it had a bunch of little mini expansions, and we decided to put them all in the same box and call it Don't Mess with Cthulhu Deluxe.
Nice.
Right. So this is a fun little social deduction game.
Okay.
It's basically, I like to call it Fisher-Price's My First Social Deduction Game, right?
Okay.
So this is the simplest social deduction game that there is.
Okay.
As far as I've ever seen. So you're going to make a deck of cards based on the amount of players in the game. It'll vary, but you're always going to have one Cthulhu card in the deck, and then you'll have one Elder Sign per player in the deck, and then you'll have just a bunch of blank tablet cards.
Okay.
So, and you put enough blank tablets so that everyone will be dealt 5 cards. You shuffle up the deck, you deal everybody 5 cards, okay?
Nice.
And then starting with the person with the flashlight token, they're going to look at their hand, they're going to say, okay, I have, and then they're going to name an amount of Elder Signs, and they can tell the truth or they can lie. But the only rule as far as communication is concerned is when it's your turn, you have to say, I have an amount of Elder Signs.
Okay.
Right? You can say whatever you want. You just have to make a declarative statement about Elder Signs. Then you're going to shuffle them up, and then you're going to lay them face down like this. And then player to my left will do the same thing. They'll say, I have 2 Elder Signs, etc. So we'll go around. So by the end, an amount of Elder Signs will be claimed. So we'll know whether that's exactly the right number that exists or not. But so at the beginning of the game, you're going to be dealt one of these roll tiles. You're either going to be an investigator or a good guy, or a cultist, a bad guy.
Nice.
So the cultists are just trying to find Cthulhu.
Right.
The investigators are trying to find all the Elder Signs. So what's going to happen is when I started with the flashlight token. I'm going to pick someone else's card, and then they're going to reveal it. It's going to go in the middle face up. It's out of the deck. Right. And now they're going to pick somebody else, and they're going to reveal the card. And so that'll go in the middle. You're going to do that until 4 cards have been revealed for a 4-player game. Maybe 5 cards in a 5-player game. And then you're going to take all the cards, pick them back up, shuffle them all together, deal them all out again.
Except for the ones in the middle.
Except for the ones in the middle. Okay. Correct. Yeah, all the ones you haven't revealed. So now you'll have 4 cards, and you'll look, and you'll go, I have 2 Elder Signs. So between the information, little bits of information you get at each round, you're trying to figure out who's telling the truth, who's lying, who you can trust, etc.
Sure.
And part of the real fun of the game is, like, at any moment, Cthulhu could be revealed, and the game would end. Because they just had to find 1 Cthulhu, but the investigators had to find 4 Elder Signs.
Okay.
The game goes 3 rounds. If they haven't found all the Elder Signs at the end of 3 rounds, the cultists win. So they have, like, a secondary time amount.
So that's a pretty quick game.
It is. It plays in 10 or 15 minutes. It can end like that.
Sure.
Right? But that's where the entire suspense in the game goes. Every card flip, you're like,
Right. Okay, I can dig that. So what else did you bring us?
I brought Exodus, Paris Nouveau.
Okay.
So Exodus is the next game in the Resistance universe. So first we had Coup, and then we had Resistance, and then we had a little game called Grifters that wasn't a social deduction game, but it was still set in that same world. And then we have Exodus. So in Exodus, you are all part of this rescue team that's been sent into this kind of urban jungle, Paris Nouveau.
Okay.
It's called Exodus Paris Nouveau. And in this game, you are going to be on 2 different teams. You are going to be dealt a roll card at the beginning of the game. That is in here somewhere. That will tell you whether you are a hunter or a rescuer.
Okay, cool.
So basically, we're all part of the rescue team, but some people have been bribed, and now they want to turn in the refugees that we're trying to rescue. So yeah, you could be a rescuer or a hunter.
Nice.
At the beginning of the game, everybody is going to get 10 of these little bid tokens.
Okay.
Based on, just everyone gets 10, and you're going to use them to bid on who's going to be leader, but I'll get to that in a second. Everyone's going to get a roll card. They just give you a little special ability throughout the game.
Nice.
They're pretty minor, but there are 9 of them in there. And then, so what's going to happen is each round we're going to elect a leader, and I'll get to how that's done.
Like this guy right here. And again, the artwork, it looks like this is a very digital art theme, but this guy starts with the game with 3 cards in their hand instead of 2, which is that sounds powerful.
Right. It is very helpful. So when you're the leader, what's going to happen is everyone has 2 cards in their hand, and in turn order, the players are going to, I was giving you these, the players are going to look at their hand, and they're going to go, so we'll pretend you're the leader. I can tell you anything I want about these cards.
All right.
I'm going to go, okay, so this one has high distance and some victory points. and then somebody else is going to submit it. They're going, ugh, this card is terrible. You don't want to take it.
They just have to say that.
They just have to say something about the card. Again,
okay.
we're really, I don't like hardcore communication rules because everyone always tries to fudge it, right? So, like, you can say whatever you want.
Okay.
So this one's like, oh, this one's pretty good. You should take it. We need this right now. And you're like, I don't know what that means, but okay.
Okay.
So now, between the cards were submitted, and you can submit one.
Right.
You don't have to say anything about your own card because you know what it is.
What is the yellow thing?
The yellow thing is the people you're rescuing.
All right. So high rate of rescue on this one.
Okay. Well, you didn't have to tell me that because you're the leader.
I'm the leader. I don't
You're the
have to say
leader this
nothing.
time. But you get to submit a card. So you can submit your card.
Yeah, I would.
Of the 4 cards that submitted, you have to take 3 of them.
Oh, jeez.
So we'll just say that you picked these. Okay.
Okay.
Then, because you want to take your own. So we'll
Right.
take one off the top.
Okay.
We'll shuffle them. And then we'll bury one of them face down. So nobody knows what that was.
Danger.
Okay. So you're going to look at these 3 cards and you're going to play one for the rescuers.
Okay. And then I would.
You just put it right there. You're like, oh, that's good. 3 life or 3 distance, 3 guys that we rescued, so 3 victory points, but you take an injury.
What?
Yeah, that's what the little heart loss means.
Well, that's, I don't like that at all.
Well, next time I'll tell you what stuff does ahead of time. But
That's okay. That's fine.
so you start with 2 life. You take an injury. You take a second when your team loses.
Oh, wow.
So yeah. So now next time you're leader, you're gonna have a limited amount of options, right? Because you won't be able to take one of the injury cards.
Right. I want to be a little bit safe on that.
When you were elected leader, you elected me, Tail, and Charlie. You thought I was on the same team. So so Tail and Charlie is going to play a card for the hunters, the bad guys.
Right.
But Tail and Charlie just draws 2 right off the top. So I don't really have a whole lot of options here, but I have a lot of cover if I'm a bad guy, right? Because I'm like, oh, I had to play this one, like because there just weren't any good cards, you know. So I mean, this was the better of the 2, and I discard the other one, so no one gets to see all the other options that we had. So basically, the deck is full of like every permutation of injury and cover loss, etc. And there are.
And do you take an injury?
I would take an injury for playing that too.
Wow.
Yeah, so we would be in a tight spot. So we would need to try and find out who our other teammate is so that we can elect them leader. Because what happens in the first phase of the game is everybody takes all their bid tokens, and these are color-coded to players, so I would have all the red ones.
Okay.
And they put some of them in their right hand, and then when everybody's ready, you reveal it, and then you cast your bid tokens for who you want to be leader.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And then they pick who Tail and Charlie is.
Nice.
So it plays out kind of like the Resistance with a little bit more granularity in your successes. But also you have a lot more player agency because there's not one person just picking who goes on the missions every round, right? You're voting for who you want to go on the missions.
Interesting.
It's interesting. It's a Martin Wallace designed game, and he's never done a social deduction game, like a real actual social deduction game. So it's been really cool to work with him because he actually hit it right out of the park on like the 3rd try for this. But
so just a close up real quick of some of the other cards that you could find in here to kind of show you what you're bidding on and throwing down. So I'm guessing distance and rescue or victory points are like really important. What's the bottom symbol, the blue and the?
So at the start of the game, the hunter, the rescuers start off with 6 cover tokens.
Okay.
And if they ever lose all their cover tokens, the hunters win.
All right. And
so that's what the little blue token is.
Oh, okay.
So all the value of the cards kind of vary throughout the course of the game, whether you have a lot of cover tokens or like if this was placed here and this was placed here, well, the rescuers start off with 5 distance tokens. But right now, the rescuers would only have 6 distance as opposed to the 5 distance here. If they ever get caught, the hunters win the game.
Oh, wow.
So now I'd be like, oh, I need a high distance card. Somebody give me and I need to figure out who my teammate is so I can trust them to play a low distance card for
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Very cool. I like it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
What is the next one you brought with you?
The next one I brought with me is Kodama Duo. This will be out either the end of this year or the beginning of next year.
Okay.
This is an expansion to Kodama, and it's also a standalone. So it's a 2-player standalone game.
Okay.
Are you familiar with Kodama?
I am not.
Okay. So
don't hang me out to dry.
I'm not gonna throw you into the bus here. I understand. There's a lot of games.
There's a lot of games.
There are tons of games. So in Kodama, so I'll quickly teach you how to play Kodama, and then I'll show you what the differences are between Kodama and Kodama Duo. So in Kodama, you are going to be growing a tree. It's a tree building game. I've played lots of tree building games, like deck building games, tree building games.
Yeah, all makes sense.
Yeah, they're all pretty much the same thing, right? So you're going to get this tree trunk.
All right.
And what you're going to do in Kodama is you are going to draft cards from the row here and add them to your tree. And the way that you add them to your tree is you just have to make sure that the bark ends that are coming off of the tree here line up with the bark end that's coming off of the card here, so that you're actually growing a branch onto the tree.
Nice.
And it's not like other kind of tableau building games where there's like really rigid placement rules. Like it's very free form, right? There's lots of different places that you can place this thing. Once you place it, you're going to score points for lines of matching icons that you have. So here you have 1 star, you have another star, you score 2 points.
Nice.
So in the next round, when it comes to you, if you picked this, you would get 1, 2, 3 points for stars, but also 1, 2 points for blossoms. So you'd score 5 points.
Okay.
So at the beginning of the game, you're dealt these little Kodama guys. You get 4 of them.
Oh, these are adorable. These are cute.
You get 4 of those. At the end, after you have placed 4 branches, you're going to pick one and score it.
Okay. Great.
And then you're going to place another 4 branches, pick one and score it, place another 4 branches and pick one and score it.
Okay.
So that's how you play Kodama. So Kodama Duo is a little bit different. In Kodama Duo, because it is a 2-player only game initially, is you have, I seem to be missing a token.
Right there.
Oh, there it is. Good eye. So in this game, instead of there being a row out here that we just draft from, we will alternate being the picker and the chooser. So it's a I split, you choose game.
Okay.
So we'll both get tree trunks. We'll both get Kodamas at the beginning of the game. When I'm the splitter, when I have the splitter token here, I'm going to draw 3 of these branch cards, and then I'm going to divide them into 2 piles. Okay. I'm going to go, okay, which one of these piles do you want? You're going to pick one,
Right.
and then you're going to, if you took the one, you'd place this branch. If you took this one, you would just place 1 branch.
Okay.
This card would get discarded. The person who only plays 1 branch gets a special little token to add to their tree. A token that matches one of these icons here, and what they get to do is cover over one of the icons on their tree so that they can better set collect.
Sure.
And then a lot of these cards interact with these, what we call spirit tokens.
Okay.
So there's a little bit more kind of decision making here, because every turn you're kind of figuring out how these cards evaluate, and you're dividing them up, and we introduce a couple new mechanics with these tokens, and sometimes the decrees that alter the rules will come out, and they'll make it so that you're putting one of these cards face down. So I'm not sure what's going to happen.
Sure.
And then, so it's a standalone 2-player game, Kodama Duo, but it also acts as an expansion for Kodama in that all the branch cards are new, all the Kodama cards are new, all the decree cards are new, and you can now play up to 6 players. So we give you enough content to play going from 5 to 6.
Nice.
And it changes the way that you play 6 players, because in Kodama, if you're just picking 1 card from the row, it can get a little slow the more players that you play. So when you play with the Duo rules for 6 players, everyone has 4 cards in their hand. They all simultaneously pick a branch and place it, and then pass the cards to their left.
Oh, that's cool.
And then draw a new one. So it really cuts down the time
that
for
is
this
good.
light little, simple
Very nice.
game.
And beautiful. Again, the artwork on all of these is amazing.
Thank you.
And so let's take a look at all 3 of these real quick. We've got, first one you showed us was Don't Mess with Cthulhu Deluxe.
Yep.
When is that available?
This is available now.
Available now.
Yeah.
And says here for 4 to 8 players,
Yep.
ages 14 up. It takes about 20 minutes to play. And what's the price point on that?
20.
$20.
Mm-hmm.
Exodus Paris Nouveau.
It's out right now also. Both of these games came out this week, I believe.
Oh, okay,
The street
great.
dates. Yeah.
And kind of has the same thing, 4 to 6, 14 and up, 30 to 45 minutes. Same price?
$20. Yep.
What? And this one?
Yep.
$20?
Yep.
And it comes out when?
This will come out either by the end of the year, like November, or we might push it till after Christmas.
Okay. So for the holidays, at least for now, we know that these are available, and these are basically amazing stocking stuffers.
Yep.
So everybody out there watching this, know that these are available. You can get them for the holidays, playing with your friends and family. Great holiday gifts. If this one comes out before Christmas, this one I think is going to be a great holiday gift and game to play with your friends and family. But if not, there's all sorts of events next year that you're going to want to play this with.
Yeah. Or
like
if you don't even have
Friday
if you don't have Kodama, get Kodama.
Yeah.
And be ready for January when this comes out.
Perfect. I love it. Well, Nick, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
And everybody out there, thanks for watching. Make sure you go to your friendly local game store and let them know you saw all these amazing games by Indie Boards and Cards.
Got it.
And if you want to find out more about Indie Boards and Cards, go to indieboardsandcards.com or
at IBC Games on Twitter.
Very well. On that note, I'm Rick. See you at the game store.
Thanks for watching Game Trade Media. Make sure to leave us a like and click that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any new content.